Welcome to Classified Captures.
Steve here, and today we've got a wild lineup of clips ranging from evidence of conspiracies you've never heard of to clips of cryptids you never even knew were out there. Ready to have your mind blown? Let's dive right in.
Hello? Oh my god, what the f? What the?
Would you ever work a night shift as a security guard? If you answered yes, then it's probably because you haven't seen this video.
I swear to God, I heard a woman talking. What the f?
The clip starts off with the security guard panicking because something has allegedly been spooking him throughout the shift. He goes to the loo but doesn't use it, obviously. At least, well, not while he's filming. While sitting there, he hears a voice and a loud sound that makes him rush out, trying to catch whatever it is that's been making the sound.
Bro, what the f was that? No.
In typical horror movie fashion, however, he finds no one. Is this the last time, though? No. It continues throughout the night. He visits other parts of the establishment where he's working and hears the voice of a woman. Sometimes it's threatening, and sometimes it's almost as though whatever that is out there is trying to scare him.
I swear to God, I heard a woman talking.
It follows him around the establishment even while he's climbing stairs. He always seems to hear footsteps, but never the being responsible for those steps. This isn't the first time he's experienced this, but this is the first time it has been this consistent and intense.
Oh my god, what the f? What the?
He uploaded the video online, hoping individuals could help him out. And he did get some help, but I doubt that's what he was expecting. Almost everyone in the paranormal community who saw the clip asked him to find another job. They all believed the place was haunted and added that his life could very well be in danger. I'm not exactly sure what to say about this. At first, I felt it was his mind playing tricks on him. We don't see or hear any of the things he's experiencing, but there were individuals in the community who swore by their lives that they'd experienced the same. Some even added they stopped taking night shifts because of these experiences.
Oh my god, what the f? What the?
I know this might be a different pill to swallow for some of you, but what do you all think? Is there anyone here who has experienced anything like this who wouldn't mind sharing?
Oh my god.
While you share your thoughts, let's take a look at this security cam footage that was uploaded barely 2 weeks ago. In the clip, we see what appears to be an orb moving across the camera in a slow yet seemingly purposeful way. The individual who uploaded this has long been a fan of the paranormal and couldn't believe his eyes when he saw this on his security cam footage. He felt like his intrigue and obsession with the paranormal was responsible for bringing them to his home. He uploaded the footage, asking what members of the community thought. Some thought the whole thing was profound, whereas others felt he was just seeing what he wanted to see. Although the thing moving on the screen did look like an orb, these guys believed it was nothing more than an insect moving around on the lens of his camera. After watching the clip about a dozen times, I'm tempted to agree with this assertion. It's probably nothing more than a bug, but what do you guys also think? And yes, next we got this clip from a cyclist whose cycling trail had a rather unexpected visitor on it. This was captured while riding along the forest trail near Crater Lake National Park in Oregon. What started as a peaceful ride turned unsettling the moment he spotted a figure crouching low on the path ahead. You can actually see it in the video. The moment he panicked and went off the trail, crashing into a bush in an attempt to avoid getting spotted or running into whatever it was. It all happened so quickly, and when you slow it down, there's definitely something there. A large, dark shape hunched over in the middle of the path. And the weird part? It doesn't move like a person, it's just there on the road. I mean, given the dark fur and large body size, there's no way it could be a human. So what are we dealing with then? In Sasquatch research circles, there's been a lot of talk about sightings like this. Some believe these creatures tend to move on all fours when they're out in the open, almost like they're trying not to be seen. They'll use postures that mimic bears or even reptiles, hugging the ground in a way that's strangely fluid and deliberate. The cyclist actually believes he encountered a Sasquatch, which is why he uploaded the clip. A chunk of the paranormal community also subscribed to the idea that he encountered one, but then again, there are a few who state that whatever he saw, it was definitely not a Sasquatch. To them, it looked more like a bear. Going back to looking at the clip, I really do think it might be a bear, but what do you guys also think? Some documentary folks came across a piece of home security footage, and what they found has the internet scratching its head. In the video, you can clearly see two tiny figures walking across a driveway. They're about 2 feet tall, hunched over, and their movement is weirdly deliberate. The two little creatures appear to be pacing back and forth like they're talking to each other, or at least coordinating something. This brings to mind the duendes we've spoken about so much. Then one of them seems to shoot something up into the sky. The footage is a little grainy, so it's hard to tell exactly what happened or how they did it, but the documentary team reviewing the video seemed very spooked. Now, if you look closely, the creatures themselves aren't exactly terrifying. They actually come across more cute than creepy, but that's also what makes this more mysterious. What are they? Are we seeing something magical and extraterrestrial, or is this just a staged scene for the documentary? Some skeptics are saying it's just a playful hoax, maybe even part of a whimsical style film project, but then again, we've never quite seen anything like this. Last I checked, duendes or garden gnomes, depending on where you live in the world, don't wander around and fire light beams into the sky. So what are we looking at here?
And you just have to see this.
A woman was taking a break one quiet afternoon outside when she noticed something strange. A backyard trampoline she'd set up for her kids was moving. Not just a little wobble on the wind, this thing looked like it was being jumped on repeatedly. You can see it in the footage. The springs stretch, the center dips, and then bounces back, just like someone is having a full-on play session, but there's no one on it. Not a soul. And if that wasn't weird enough, look underneath. There's a shadow. Not a shadow cast by the trampoline frame, but something else. Something darker, also moving underneath. The woman was so freaked out that she didn't even go near it, and honestly, who can blame her? Whatever was out there wasn't visible, but it was very much there. It's clear something or someone was playing on that trampoline, but the question is, what was it? While that's the mysterious and paranormal take, some members in my clip believe it's nothing more than the video editing, so you guys take a good look and share your opinions as well. Remember that video from a while ago, the one with those strange underground sounds? Well, we might just have another one. This time it comes from Kentucky.
I finally found it again after like 3 weeks. Listen to this. I don't know if you can hear it or not. It's pretty windy.
A man was out for a walk when he started hearing something odd. He pulled out his phone and recorded what sounded like this strange, mechanical heartbeat-like thumping. It's not muffled either. It's clear, rhythmic, and deep. Although like a grunt, but machine-like at the same time. No one around could tell where it was coming from. Nothing was visible, just the sound echoing from somewhere beneath the ground. This has kicked off a wave of theories and speculation. Some skeptics think it's nothing more than underground construction machines digging tunnels, maybe a pipeline or even secret transportation system. And to be fair, that could make sense in some places. But others aren't quite buying that explanation at all. They believe this is something much deeper. One of the more intriguing theories is that it sounds like it's coming from an underground civilization. Yeah, you heard that right. People are saying this might be evidence of a hidden city beneath our feet, one that's been there for ages but is now beginning to reveal itself. Then there are the doomsayers, the folk who think this is some warning sign like pressure building beneath underground, something natural and dangerous. An earthquake, a massive sinkhole, or even some unknown disaster waiting to break free.
Whatever it is, we still don't have the answers. The sound is real, the footage is real, but the source is a mystery.
Pretty windy.
This next footage comes from Brazil. A man was out walking one night when he noticed this figure just standing in front of the building a few steps ahead. At first, he thought it was just another person out late. Maybe someone is waiting for a ride or hanging around. Nothing too unusual. But then a motorcycle came riding down the road. Its headlights hit the figure directly, and here's where things get creepy. The light didn't bounce off like it should have. It went through the figure, and just like that, the figure vanished into thin air, completely gone. If that wasn't enough to rattle your nerves, listen closely to the video. You can hear dogs barking like crazy right as it happens. It's like they sensed something wasn't right. And when you look carefully, you see that the figure didn't even have a head. Yeah, it's headless. This man was so spooked he didn't stick around to investigate, and honestly, who can blame him? Anyway, what do you think? Was this a glitch in the camera or something far more chilling? It appears humans are starting to take this whole playing God thing a little too seriously, and depending on how you look at it, that might not be such a bad thing, or it might be terrifying. Scientists have just unveiled something interesting. These adorable, fluffy white wolf cubs, but these aren't your average wolves. These are dire wolves. Yeah, the same dire wolves that went extinct around 13,000 years ago. Using fossil samples and some genetic engineering, researchers have managed to bring them back, not in theory, but in reality. 3 living direwolf cubs. That's right. They've grown them, they're alive, and they're here. And just look at them. Tiny, pure white, and honestly kind of cute, but knowing what they are hits differently. Direwolves were once apex predators, larger, stronger, and more brutal than today's gray wolves. They roamed the lands in packs and dominated wherever they went. So, are we bringing them back just to look at them, or are we starting something much bigger? Because if we can bring back direwolves, what's stopping us from resurrecting other extinct creatures? If you've been on this channel, then you know that the de-extinction of the saber-toothed cats and mammoths is in the works. What could be next? Our human ancestors? Okay, well, maybe I should pause here and not give them ideas. Night shift encounters are often the most unsettling ones, and this story just proves that. A young woman was working the late shift at a building. At some point during her shift, she started hearing odd noises like someone was pacing or waltzing just outside. So she stepped onto the balcony to look around, but there was nothing. Complete silence, just darkness and empty space. She brushed it off and decided to head back inside. She stepped into the elevator alone and was the only one there at the time, so she took the opportunity to roll a cart back to her station. But then the camera inside the elevator caught something chilling. As she stood there on the reflective elevator wall, her phone captured the pale face of a woman. She had a hollow black eye and an eerie, gaping mouth. The reflection was right behind her, but when she turned around, there was no one there. Nothing. Just her. Since that night, she's said to have felt strange, cold spots, unexplainable noises, and the constant sense that she's being watched. She believes that whatever that thing was, it followed her home, and that it latched onto her somehow. But what exactly was it? She says it was a demon, but others think it could have been a ghost. There are some who also believe she's making a fuss over nothing, but what do you guys think? A couple recently caught something very strange on their baby monitor one night, and it's left a lot of people with chills. According to them, everything was normal. They'd just put their baby to sleep and were keeping an eye on the monitor like any cautious parent would. But then, something happened. In the footage, a bright light suddenly appears in the nursery. It wasn't coming from the window or a lamp. It was right there inside the room. The light seemed to take shape almost like a human figure, and it stood right over the baby's crib. For a few moments, it just hovered there, almost like it was looking down at the child. They revealed that the baby's grandparents had passed not long ago, and in their hearts they believe that this strange glowing presence was one of them. A grandparent coming back just to check in, maybe to bless the child, maybe just to be close one last time. While some people might brush it off as a camera glitch or a play of light, the way the figure formed and how it stayed so still, it just didn't feel like some random fluke. And honestly, wherever you believe in spirits or not, there's something deeply comforting about the idea that loved ones can still visit, even if just for a moment. What do you think? Next, we've got this clip sent to us by a man who was, well, traveling one night when he saw what you're seeing on your screen. If it's not already clear enough, there's a child down there, which is odd. First of all, that's the last place you would expect a child to hang around, and secondly, where is the light source coming from and how is the shadow being cast down there? These were the questions the man had when he was filming the shadow. A number of individuals who had seen the clip before we did stated that it was almost likely a shadow being down there. Others thought it was something more sinister, say a group of people casting a shadow of a boy down there to lure the unsuspecting so they could rob them. The theories were basically endless, but this made more sense to me, and it's got me wondering what it is that we could really be dealing with.
I refuse to ask Julius because, well, quite frankly, I can't stand the judgmental tone, but you guys are different. You don't judge me, really, do you? So can you tell me what you think this is? Help me demystify the mystery.
Speaking of mysteries, I've got another one for you, all the way from Cincinnati, Ohio. This was uploaded by one Tim Clayton, who claims this image was captured after he'd installed motion cameras on his brother's property. To add a bit of context, at the time the image was captured, his brother was supposed to be alone. His brother is the individual on the left, but the one on the right, they've no idea who or what it is. There wasn't supposed to be anyone but his brother there, and physically there was no one there. That makes it shocking for the camera to capture this. When the story was shared, almost all who saw it stated that it was probably the spirit of the previous tenant. I mean, after everything we've seen and experienced on this channel, it's not impossible, but maybe, just maybe, I'm being blinded by my past experiences. What say you? Not sure if you knew this, but researchers typically worked independently of Big Pharma, so their research could be objective. Recent evidence, however, shows that this might not be the case anymore. Between 2020 and 2022, a significant conflict of interest emerged in the medical publishing world. A study published in JAMA revealed that nearly 59% of US-based physician peer reviewers for 4 of the most influential medical journals, that is, the BMJ, JAMA, The Lancet, and the New England Journal of Medicine, receive financial payments from drug and medical device companies. These payments totaled a staggering $1.6 billion, with over $64 million going towards general compensation like consultant fees and speaking engagements, and the remaining $1 billion classified as research funding. This revelation has sparked concern because these reviewers play a critical gatekeeping role in determining which medical studies get published and which findings gain credibility in the medical community. Since doctors, hospitals, and policymakers often rely on these journals to guide treatment decisions, the influence of industry money raises serious questions about bias, transparency, and trust in scientific integrity. While the journals do have conflict of interest policies in place, critics argue that greater oversight and disclosure are urgently needed to prevent this objectivity of medical research and protect public health. Simply put, receiving monies from Big Pharma will most likely make them put out research in favor of these companies at the expense of our health. If you love meat, this one's for you. Recently, independent individuals have been examining pre-made meat under high-powered microscopes, and their findings aren't exactly fun. Oh no, fun isn't quite the right word. Healthy. Yeah, healthy. If you're wondering what I'm blabbering about, these pre-made meats have live parasites in them. I know what you're thinking.
But Steve, all meat have parasites in them. That's why we cook them.
But Steve, all meat have parasites in them. That's why we cook them. Well, yeah, but according to these independent researchers, the level of parasites discovered in these meats were bad. Very bad. In other words, the source of the meat was questionable. They didn't mention brands because, well, they didn't want to get sued, but just consider this as an alert or friendly advice to check your meat sources and thoroughly cook them before eating. If you like to have your meat rare or medium rare, well, I'd be careful. Very careful. This photo was taken back in 2015 by a man named Samuel. He was just hanging out in the living room with 3 other people. 2 were across the room chatting, and 1 was lying on the couch glued to their phone. It was nothing out of the ordinary, just a chill night. Samuel decided to take a quick selfie to capture the moment, but what showed up in the photograph was anything but ordinary. If you look at the top left side of the image, there it is, a strange humanoid figure just standing in the background. At first glance, it almost blends in, but the more you look, the more chilling it becomes. The figure looks like a woman in what seems to be a robe with short curly hair. None of the people present recall seeing anyone like that in the house. In fact, no one noticed anything unusual until they looked at the photograph later. There's something ghostly about her presence, the way she just stands there completely still, barely noticeable. She doesn't look pixelated or glitched like you'd expect from a camera era. She looks real, too real. Samuel didn't provide much context either. He didn't say if he recognized her or if maybe someone who once lived or died in that house might have resembled her. But what we do know is that there were 4 individuals physically in that room, so who was the 5th figure in the photo?
That's an airplane that's going on. Oh my god.
It's an asteroid for sure, dude. Meteor shower? No, it's an asteroid that just exploded when it hit the fucking, what's it called? Atmosphere.
Moving on from that, we take to the skies where we see something that you don't typically see. At first, I thought it was a shooting star, but clearly it's not, and it's got smaller orb-like structures around it. Unlike many of the processed videos we see, this one seems to have unfiltered audio with a lot of wind and comments in the background, which gives it some legitimacy. Now, the individual who allegedly recorded and uploaded this didn't share any more information because he didn't have any. He had questions, and the community had theories. He initially thought it was an asteroid, and he can even be heard saying that in the clip. The community didn't, however, share his view. Some believed this was a man-made craft making a re-entry, others thought it was aliens. A few in the community asked whether it was filmed and wondered if it could be SpaceX. The uploader, however, didn't respond. It's almost like he vanished after posting. Some think the government got him, whilst others think he simply made the whole clip up. Hard to say which it is, but what do you think?
Asteroid hit the atmosphere.
We've talked about chemtrails a lot on this channel. You know, those strange trails in the sky that people swear aren't just harmless condensation. Whether it's weather modification, mind control, or something even deeper, the theory's out there, and for good reason. Too many of us have seen patterns, footage, and effects that don't quite add up. But the clip we're looking at today hits something else entirely. There's no plane in sight, just the chemtrail and a shadow, a clear dark streak running alongside it in the sky, and that's what's so strange. If there's no plane, what exactly is casting that shadow? It doesn't move, it just lingers perfectly aligned like it's stretched into the clouds. I've watched it frame by frame and it still doesn't make any sense. Some are saying it's a trick of the light or atmospheric illusion, but others think it's proof of something being projected or hidden from view. Whatever it is, it's unsettling. A man shared this interesting video he took from the top of a building. He had his camera pointed down, casually filming the street below. Just the usual houses, cars, and quiet street life. And then this happened. Out of nowhere, a beam of light shoots straight down from the sky and strikes the ground. Where it hits, there's a brief flash, a burst of flames, and then it's gone. All that's left is a small cloud of smoke rising from the impact point. Now let's take a closer look. That wasn't lightning. No thunder, no storm, and it didn't have the flicker or scatter you usually see with natural strikes. This looked controlled and precise, almost like it was fired from something. But there's no visible source, no aircraft, no drones, no satellite trails, nothing. And that's exactly why people are now speculating that this could be a DEW, a direct energy weapon. These are advanced weapons designed to fire focused energy beams that can strike with pinpoint accuracy and leave little to no trace behind except, well, a fireball and smoke, apparently. But skeptics are saying this is all a setup. They argue it's just another staged hoax with how conveniently the guy had his camera rolling at that exact moment. A man decided to explore an old, abandoned mine. It was one of those late afternoon adventures that quickly slipped into nightfall. And as he walked deeper into the tunnel, the only thing that greeted him was silence, at first. But not long after, he started to hear strange noises echoing from somewhere in the darkness. The sounds were distant at first, but then they kept getting louder, almost like something was moving under there with him. Curiosity or maybe something else pushed him further in. Eventually, he came to a rusted metal barricade deep within the mine. Beyond it, everything was pitch black. But the noises were louder now, definitely not his imagination. He held up his phone past the barricade into the darkness, and that's when he saw it. Something was walking out of the shadows. Slowly, cautiously, it had long, spindly limbs, far too thin to be a human. The way it moved, the way its form stretched unnaturally, didn't look like anything that should exist down there. As soon as the man laid eyes on it, panic set in. He didn't stick around to get a better look. He turned and ran as fast as he could out of that mine. Even though the footage was brief, the image still lingers. That thing in the tunnel, whatever it was, did not belong down there. What do you think he saw in that mine?
What was it, girls? Get ya? Did you guys hear that one? Yeah. Possible Wendigo. Sounds like a couple of them.
A man had gone out in the woods for a peaceful walk with his 2 Rottweilers. It was just supposed to be a relaxing stroll deep into the quiet forest. After some time, they reached a river hidden in the heart of the woods. The man settled there for a bit, letting the dogs wander off to play along the edge of the trees. But that calm did not last long. Suddenly, the dogs came bolting back, ears pinned, tails tucked, completely panicked. Something had scared them badly. And then he heard it. A loud, bone-chilling screech. The sound seemed to twist through the forest, bouncing off the trees in ways that made it impossible to tell exactly where it was coming from. Now, most people would probably jump to the usual suspects like skinwalkers, wendigos, maybe even a banshee. These are names that come up a lot when people report hearing terrifying cries deep in the woods. But this time, some folks suggested something different: the Amazon death whistle. A mysterious ancient artifact from South America that, when blown, emits one of the most unsettling human-like screams you will ever hear. It's not just loud, it pierces you. Some believe it was used by warriors to strike fear into their enemies or possibly to summon spirits. But what would a sound like that be doing in the middle of a random forest far from the Amazon? Was someone or something trying to scare him away, or was it just a coincidence that this strange cry matched that of the infamous whistle? To this day, the man swears he didn't see a single thing, but he heard it, and judging by how fast his dogs ran, they heard it too. What do you think was hiding in those trees?
What was it, girls? Get ya? Did you guys hear that one? Yeah. Possible Wendigo. Sounds like a couple of them.
Are imaginary friends really just imaginary? A man was playing hide-and-seek with his daughter when she decided to crawl under the table to hide. Nothing strange, right? But when the little girl told her dad that her imaginary friend wanted to join the game too, he laughed it off, thinking it was just typical kid stuff. Still, for fun, he decided to film it. The camera catches his daughter crawling out from under the table and walking to the other side of the room. But as the camera follows her movement, there it is. Someone else appears briefly in the frame. Just for a second, a small figure about the same size as his daughter, but with long, dark hair. It moves quickly and then ducks out of view. Take another look. Right there. It's fast, but it's definitely not a trick of the light or a weird angle. It really does look like another child. But here's the thing. The man says it was just him and his daughter in the house. No visitors, no sleepovers, no siblings. And that's when he began to wonder. Was that his daughter's imaginary friend? What if some of these imaginary friends kids talk about aren't so imaginary after all? But skeptics are also saying that the whole thing is staged. In the paranormal community, there's a strong belief in alternate realities, and surprisingly, even some branches of science support the idea. The theory goes that we all have alternate versions of ourselves living out different lives based on the decisions we didn't make. Parallel timelines where everything is the same except just slightly different. A woman recently shared a story online and it's got a lot of people talking. She said she was at the mall casually shopping when she noticed a woman who looked exactly like her. And not just in the face, this woman had the same hairstyle, the same body shape she used to have 15 years ago, but that's not all. The woman had 3 kids with her. 2 of them looked exactly like the children she has now, but the third, well, that one shook her. Years ago, this woman had a miscarriage. The child she lost was a boy, and in this moment, standing in front of her was a woman who looked just like her with 2 familiar children and a 3rd child, a boy who would have been about the same age as the one she lost. She was shocked. But she didn't take any pictures or videos. She just stared, trying to make sense of what she was seeing, and then she ran straight home. She shared an old photograph of herself from back then with her 2 children at the time, saying that they looked exactly the same. But we cannot confirm without this evidence, so could this woman have been an alternate version of herself?
Haircut that I just showed you, but they looked like this. Like I was too stunned to do anything. All I could do was sit there and watch her. Watch me? Us? I don't know. But the even crazier part is there was a boy that was with us. He was a little bit older than my oldest daughter, and the craziest part about that is I had a miscarriage when I was 18. And I knew it was a boy. But I sat there for like 2 seconds and I watched them and they looked so happy. And then reality hit me and I realized like what the fuck is going on, and it scared me and I just took off.
This next footage was captured high above Texas by a pilot flying at 45,000 feet. He noticed a strange light flickering in the sky, just hovering there. At first, it was a single light glowing faintly, and then it simply vanished, but that was not the end of it. Shortly after, 2 more lights appeared, floating in the same area. No one had a solid explanation for what these lights could be. The most popular theory is UFOs, just like many of the strange, shiny orbs we've seen in the sky before. However, some skeptics point out that as the camera moves, so do the lights. This leads them to believe it might just be a reflection on the camera lens, not actual glowing orbs in the sky. But even then, the timing, the way they disappear and reappear, well, it's all a little too eerie.
Wait. Well, it stops position, and then it goes away.
What is that?
And then there's 2 more.
Where?
Right below it.
Where? Going to where there's another one.
Olive oil is often praised as one of the healthiest oils we can consume. So anytime we see something labeled as olive oil in a video or in a store, we automatically assume it's healthy, but not so fast. There's something out there called olive oil blend, and it's made up of 90% canola oil and only 10% olive oil. Now, the problem is canola oil isn't exactly the best option for your health. Studies have linked it to inflammation, and some say it's not great for your heart either. But because it's much cheaper than real olive oil, many brands mix it in and still label the product olive oil. So while these blends may look like a more affordable choice, they come at a cost: your health. Always check the label. If it doesn't say 100% extra virgin olive oil, it's probably being blended with something else. And remember, cheaper isn't always better, especially when it comes to what you put in your body. We got another strange UFO sighting that was shared by an observer flying over the Atlantic Ocean. This time, it wasn't just a light, it was a glowing red formation behind the clouds. From the footage, it seems like some kind of shape or pattern hiding just behind the clouds layer, but it's hard to say exactly what it is. Some people believe it looks a lot like a UFO or even a fleet of them. Interestingly, a few pointed out that the light formation kind of resembles the Pleiades star cluster, also known as the Seven Sisters, and honestly, they're not wrong. You can kind of see the resemblance. But what's throwing everyone off is the color, that intense red glow, and since it's tucked behind the clouds, we never really get a clear look at what's creating the light. So what do you think? Is it just a weird atmospheric event, or something more? man recently bought a new house and moved in not too long ago, but soon after settling in, he started experiencing some strange things happening around the place. And you already know how I feel about buying houses that might be haunted. It's a no from me. But this guy, he didn't seem to mind at all. The next time something weird happened, he decided to film it. He was in the living room, picking out something to watch, and his camera was already rolling. That's when he noticed the lights leading to the bathroom hallway started to flicker. Curious, he got up and walked over, and that's when it happened. Right there in the open doorway to the bathroom, a dark figure suddenly peeked its head out and looked straight at him. Now here's the part that gets me. He didn't even freak out. Instead, he calmly talked to whatever it was and rushed inside to check behind the wall, but it was gone. No one was there. He steps back out, and that same figure shows up again. Now, I don't know about you, but if a shadow figure started popping up in my hallway, I'm packing and sleeping somewhere else. But hey, not this guy. What would you do if something like this happened in your new home?
Who are you? I'm not gonna hurt you. Leave my lights alone.
This next footage comes from Mexico, and it's got the internet buzzing. What you're looking at is a strange craft just hovering silently over the area, not moving forward, not shifting to the side, just sitting there still, almost like it was watching something. Now, what makes this even more bizarre is how stable it looks. There's no sound, no visible propellers, no obvious signs of how it even stayed in the air. It doesn't look like a drone, and it certainly doesn't move like a plane or helicopter. Most people who've seen this clip are quick to say the same thing. This could be a UFO, and honestly, it's hard to argue with that. Mexico has long been a hot spot for strange aerial sightings. From ancient legends about sky gods to more recent UFO reports, there's just something about this region that keeps attracting the unexplained. Some believe the certain locations act like energy portals or hotspots, drawing in unknown crafts from who knows where. As for the footage, there's no clear answer yet. No one's come forward to claim it was a prank, and no authorities have said it is a weather balloon or military test. You know how people talk about frequencies, how different types can affect the body, the mind, and even emotions? Well, this video might just be a perfect example. The baby was crying non-stop in bed when one of the parents brought out a singing bowl, the kind used in sound therapy. They gently held it over the baby and struck it softly with a stick. The bowl gave off a deep, soothing frequency, and within seconds, the baby completely calmed down, then drifted off to sleep. These kinds of techniques were used a lot back in the day. Frequencies were meant for healing, for calming the mind and body. But strangely, these methods have been pushed to the side, even banned in some modern settings. And that raises the question, why would something so gentle and clearly effective be dismissed unless there's something they don't want us to know? Most of the time when we see strange sightings, our first instinct is usually, well, it's probably just someone in a costume, and fair enough, plenty of hoaxes out there. But then there are those clips that are just too hard to debunk. Take this footage, for example. A woman was at home when she noticed something bizarre. Through a window above a front door, she saw a head of a strange creature peeking inside the house. It had long, dark hair, and its face could not be made out clearly. Here's the thing. That window is way too high for any normal person to just stand there and look in. It's that high, almost touching the ceiling. You need a ladder or something just to reach it. So what exactly was up there? Some say it might be a ghost, others believe it's some type of cryptid, something not entirely human but also not quite animal. So what do you think it is? If you have a soft spot for wildlife, then brace yourself for this set of clips. As much as I'd love to begin with a clever quip, this footage is just too disturbing and sad for me to come up with one that's appropriate. In the footage, we see deer moving around in circles till they drop to the ground. And no, these deer aren't possessed. Instead, they're suffering from a rare disease called chronic wasting disease. It's a transmissible neurological disease that not only affects deer, but other cervids like elk, moose, and reindeer as well. Fortunately, they can't transmit this disease to humans yet. If you ever see a deer experiencing this, please inform local authorities and stay safe out there. Now we have this popular yet very controversial footage from a couple of years ago. If I were to mention blood-sucking beings, what comes to mind? Vampires, right? But what if I told you there were other creatures known for sucking blood? Yes, that's right, vampires aren't the only ones. All these animals you were seeing had their blood sucked dry. Fortunately, the other blood-sucking creature has a taste for animals and not humans. It's a creature of legend known as a chupacabra, and one such creature has been drinking the blood of the livestock on the farm these clips were captured. And how do we know for sure? The farmers managed to capture it in action, but just before they could make it pay for its sins, it got away. They're convinced it's the legendary chupacabra, and we're leaning toward believing them. But what do you think? In the midst of a chilling winter darkness, this intriguing video clip unfolds, offering a blend of curiosity and amusement. The footage opens with footprints that hint at an elusive presence that ventured into the scene. A closer look reveals peculiar chicken-like markings, leaving us to ponder what creature might be responsible for this cryptic visitation. As the footage unfolds, the recorder remains determined to uncover the truth behind the enigmatic footprints. The path leads to an area surrounded by bags of resources with a hint of dampness in the air. And then, there it is, a surprising sight that defies explanation. An otherworldly being resembling an alienoid figure comes into view. With a dark, shadowy appearance, glowing eyes, and a head shape reminiscent of a child's doodles, the creature captures our attention. Yet questions arise. What brings this Star Wars-esque character to a terrain seemingly incompatible with its presence? What mission or purpose lies behind its visit to Earth? Could its appearance signal a deeper message, a warning akin to the sky falling? In this curious encounter, the lines between reality and imagination blur, leaving us to ponder the intricate mysteries of the universe. As we contemplate the peculiar appearance, we're reminded that the cosmos continues to hold secrets that both intrigue and mystify us. Also, I think the whole thing is fake. What about you? One of the wildest captures we have come across of a Bigfoot in a long time. Just take a look at this. In the capture, we see a tall, furry creature with solid, strong-looking arms. Unlike most of the Bigfoot captures we have seen on this channel, this particular one is hunched over with its hands having only fingers. It looks like it's got something sinister or threatening in its path because there's no other explanation for the serious look on its face. Unless, of course, it's noticed the trail camera and knows exactly what it is and isn't happy about being filmed. For that to be a possibility, the creature must be capable of some level of intelligence that Bigfoots are rumored to have. Before you dismiss this and call Bigfoot nothing more than a myth, know that there have been numerous global reports claiming encounters with this cryptid in various parts of the world, from North America to Canada and Vietnam. The big question remains, is this footage genuine evidence of Bigfoot? Could it be an AI creation, or is it merely a scene from a movie? I know opinions will be varied, but still do share them. What do you think about it? This next footage is one that's certainly no 3D animation. Take a good look at it. We know the cartoons make bears look cuddly et al., but this footage shows us just how dangerous they can be. The footage is from Yellowstone Park, and the bear came out of the woods and suddenly went after the pack ranger on duty. Fortunately for the ranger, he had his vehicle parked nearby and his vehicle had a gun in it. A few shots into the sky and the bear was scared off. I wouldn't want to imagine what could have happened if he'd encountered the bear without appropriate equipment or training. I know I've said it before, but I say it again. Be very careful when in bear territory and, if possible, avoid it completely, especially when alone and not trained for such situations. Did you know bears could climb? Well, of course you do. We'd already seen a bear climbing after a man earlier. As much as we know bears are capable of climbing, we never knew they could climb this high. And guess what? It went that high to go after a baby bird. I'm pretty sure the mama bird thought its baby was perfectly safe up there, and I would have thought so too, but this bear only found it a challenge to conquer. This is not something we're accustomed to seeing, and we can even hear the one who recorded it gasping in surprise. But do tell us, have you ever seen such a thing? We'd love to hear about your experience. This next footage comes from Czechoslovakia and was recorded back in 2015 when a curious man ventured into the woods for a hike. While he was walking deeper into the woods, he heard a strange sound. The sound was like a cry from an animal. It wasn't exactly a howl, neither was it a bark or a growl. Listening to the sound, you can tell it's coming from a pretty big creature. In any normal circumstance, you would expect him to run out of there, but no, he walked straight towards the sound to investigate. As he ventured deeper, he encountered broken tree branches and enormous tracks that looked like human footprints, but much larger and deeper in the earth. This indicates that who or whatever it is must be very heavy. Sensing the sounds drawing nearer, the hiker wisely cut his adventure short, scared that he might come face to face with something he wasn't prepared for. When this man uploaded this footage, people were quick with different theories. Some said it was the infamous Dogman, others said it was the legendary Bigfoot. Someone mentioned that it could be a human-eating troll, while some took a much more scientific explanation, saying that the sound was from the collision of two wind currents. But if that was the case, then what explanation do you have for the tracks that were found there as well? But in all, I'm glad the man left there, because who knows what he would have come face to face with if he stayed to find out. This next footage is one that has me scratching my head. Take a look. You see it, don't you? The scene is in a remote, misty place, making the landscape captivating. In this setting, a tall, white, well-built figure appears, sparking curiosity. This mysterious apparition has led to speculation, with theories like an albino Sasquatch or a cloaked Bigfoot being discussed. Looking at it though, I don't see any of these things. I simply think it's a man in a costume trying to get some views. What about you? Now for something paranormal and freaky. Take a look at this footage that we came across. As much as I'd love to tell you that's a picture of a lady in front of her house, it's not. The image was sent in by the real homeowner when he realized the camera in front of his house had been capturing images of this woman. In this footage, we see the lady dressed in a gown with a head covering standing in front of a house. If you paid close attention, you'd realize that there are no other houses in sight, which could mean this was captured in a very remote area, which leaves us with lots of questions. Who is this woman, and why does she appear only at night in front of the house? Many who saw the footage believed that she was a ghost. Others believe she may have been killed in the area and typically returns to the spot she was killed at. As much as I'd love to believe this isn't the case, the eerie nature of the footage says otherwise. What do you think, though? Do you believe in aliens? If you answered no, then be prepared to have that stance challenged. Yes, that's a 9-foot being that was captured at midnight. Around the same time, unidentified objects were seen falling from the sky from a strange flying object that didn't look like any aircraft we have known on the planet. From afar, these unidentified flying objects looked like an array of lights in the sky, just like something you'd expect out of an alien movie. Those who saw it were convinced that they were alien spacecraft. But were they really, though? Well, before I go any further, pause the video and write your thoughts in the comments section. If you're still here, I guess you have written your thoughts. Investigating the footage, we made some profound discoveries. A similar video with the same alien creature was posted at least one day before this whole alien stuff was posted online. The post actually went viral, which, and perhaps, and that might have motivated the one who used the footage to do so. A closer look at the original poster's hashtag and you see Blender, which is an animating and GI tool. This basically means the whole thing is a hoax, which is a bummer. Do you believe in ghosts? How then do you explain this? The footage starts off with a young girl leaving home. Her comments when she uploaded the footage showed that she was actually going to work on an early morning shift, specifically 2 a.m., which is dawn. Her neighborhood is safe, so there was nothing to worry about. At least that's what she thought, until a mist-looking intangible entity appeared from the left and went after her. No one would have believed her but for the CCTV camera that captured the whole thing. She concluded that the thing was a ghost, but no one had died in her home or neighborhood recently, which left her perplexed as to why she, of all people, would be chased. She posted it online seeking answers. There are many possibilities for this, from living in a haunted house to touching something she wasn't supposed to. I could go on, but that would all be speculation. Who has experienced this before? Can you share your experience with the rest of us? We'd love to know. Still on strange spirits, take a look at this next clip. If anything, this capture is much more creepier and disturbing than the other. What is that? Why is it moving left and right? Why does it look like that? We did our research and checks and found out that it looks like no cryptid or paranormal entity ever recorded and sent to us. In simpler terms, we don't know what it is, nor can we even begin to understand its existence. Is it a wandering spirit? Did it just materialize in our plane? Is it back for vengeance? These are questions that plague our minds, yet they are also questions we may never have answers to. Have you ever encountered something like this? Tell us about your experience. Now, if you thought zombies only existed in movies and games like The Last of Us, then this footage will surely shock you. The zombie you just saw in the footage appears to be brain dead. It's running around in circles and charging at any living thing that makes the slightest move around it. This is something we've seen zombies do in movies and games we have seen and played. But what's actually happening here? Well, the moose is actually suffering a neurological disease that's caused by a brain-worm parasite. The disease is referred to as paralelephostronglosis, or the paralelephostronglosis tenuous infection. Once infected, the moose goes through the symptoms we mentioned earlier till they drop dead. It's a very sad thing, and if you ever see a moose exhibiting any of these symptoms, quickly call the authorities and stay clear of the animal. Now let's take a look at this footage. What do you see? It's hard to tell, isn't it? It just looks like a dark, cloudy image, but take your time and observe it critically. A face should be forming now in your mind. The image looks like the lower part of a face. From the top bit toward the lower bit of the face, you see a nose, then some lips, and what look like cheeks and a beard. We wish we could show you the rest of the body, but unfortunately this is all the Trailcam managed to capture. Perhaps something obstructed the view from the side. So, the million-dollar question, what is that? A human, perhaps a large and hairy one, a gorilla, or a cryptid like Bigfoot? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. We'd love to see them. The creature you see on your screen has murdered many and drank the blood of countless others. Not many have escaped its powerful gaze, and it has even developed a taste for human blood. It stuns its victims with its blood gaze and then proceeds to drink enough of their blood to keep them alive but weak. This is the vampire deer. Well, don't mind me, that was just a tease, and no, despite having those fangs, the creature you see doesn't suck blood. The Chinese water deer, also known as the water deer or vampire deer due to its prominent fangs, is a small species of deer native to China and Korea. It's a unique and distinct species known for its appearance and behavior. Believe me when I tell you that despite having protruding upper canine teeth that can be as long as 3 inches, their diet primarily consists of a variety of plants, including aquatic vegetation, grasses, and shrubs. They use those canines for territorial displays and occasionally for combat. In other words, they're safe. No vampire is coming for your blood. Or are they? What do you think this is? Ape? Bear? Bigfoot? Well, the individual who took the pictures says it's a Bigfoot. The image was captured near the border of New Mexico, which is known as a hotspot for Bigfoot sightings. Initially, it was thought that this Bigfoot was carrying lumber, but after critical analysis, they realized that it was actually a deer, and its head and antlers can be seen behind if you look closely enough. Is this the evidence we needed to know that Bigfoots are actually hunters and gatherers? Do they have their own recipes for eating wild animals, or do they eat them raw? I'm so tempted to visit the area just to confirm this for myself, but knowing me, I'd either collapse on seeing Bigfoot or end up with a meal. If that were to happen, who would collect your paranormal footage for you? For the sake of you guys, I'm willing to put this dream on hold so I can bring you quality content. On that note, if you still haven't liked, commented, or subscribed to the channel yet, please do so now. It really helps us out a ton and gives me the opportunity to keep making these videos for you. Thank you very much. Moving on. What did you think? Hopefully that didn't make you throw away your phone. Not to say that's what happened to me, but I may have just known someone who damaged his phone by watching this footage. But let's take a critical look at the footage. In the footage, we see a head pop out from behind the tree and quickly disappear as it appeared. Just when we thought we had seen the last of it, it reappears and pulls down the trail camera. Imagine setting up your trail camera in the woods and going back sometime later to find the camera roughed up and off the very place you set it up. So what do you make of it? Is it a man with makeup on, or could we be dealing with a paranormal being? A rake, perhaps? Share your thoughts with us. So, what do you see in this CCTV footage? It looks like a human walking on all fours like an animal will, right? A closer look and you'd realize that its movements are far from natural. Because of this fact, all who saw the footage when it was uploaded thought it might be a skinwalker. Despite this assertion, there are some who also thought it might be a rake instead. There's a third sect thought that thinks there's nothing supernatural about the footage and that it's merely a human either playing games or acting weirdly. I'm tempted to lean toward the third assertion, but what do you think? Picture this, Chucky Land, where dolls gather and then venture out into the world only to become so comfortable that they settle wherever they please. In a desolate corner of the woods, a house stands as a testament to a life once lived. However, whoever inhabited this space must have had more than a passing fondness for dolls. It seems they had an obsession. Isolated from the nearby town and neighbors, the house now sits abandoned, teetering on the edge of decay. Cracked walls, peeling paint, rusty furniture, and dusty bathtubs create an eerie atmosphere. The lawn is a canvas of discarded dolls, each one having seen better days. If there was ever a place that could be called haunted, this might be it. It leads to questions that tread the line between reality and the supernatural. Do these dolls come to life at night, echoing the infamous Chucky? Could they be descendants of the notorious doll? And who could the owner of this property be? Surely they hold the secrets of what transpired over the years and the reasons for leaving this eerie collection behind. It's a scene ripe with mystery and an unsettling aura, leaving us to wonder who lived within these walls for approximately 3 decades. Creepy indeed. Still on Bigfoot captures, take a look at this capture. Do you notice anything odd? Before you answer, let me give you the backstory of the whole thing. A group of horse riders set out into the woods filming their expedition. The unsuspecting horsemen had a lot of fun, and after they retired home to rewatch the footage, they stumbled upon something in the woods. Hidden in the woods, where you can see the last horse, is the footage of a dark figure. Its imposing silhouette reveals powerful shoulders and a shroud of dark fur. The creature lurked among the leaves and it carefully watched the riders pass by. They all came to the obvious conclusion of what it could be: a Bigfoot. What do you think? As you ponder on the unknown species, take a look at this interesting footage. What do you see? If you said giant tracks, you were right, but who could they belong to? Well, if you know anything about cryptids and you have been following this page for a while, then the answer should be pretty much simple. It's Bigfoot. Yeah, you heard that right, a Bigfoot. The person who stumbled upon this massive footprint discovered several others nearby. This was preserved because of the mud at the riverbank. It's said that the authorities tried to get rid of the evidence but couldn't get it all. If that's true, then I wonder what else are they hiding from us. But as you wonder with me, I have a task for you. I intentionally left out the area where this footage was taken from. Can you guess? If you know, drop the name in the comments section, and if you're right, you get a shout out in our next video. Next, we have this Trailcam footage that shows a spectral being moving in the background. Just pay attention to the video and you'll see it. Have you seen it? It looks translucent and is moving in the background. If you're having trouble seeing it, pay attention to the direction in which the dog stares and barks. Did you see it? Yes, that's what I'm referring to. The footage was taken by a man who was exploring the woods. He realized his dog was barking in a direction. He looked in the same direction, and this is what he saw. He refused to return to the woods or even talk about the encounter. But what do you think about it? Does it look real, or do you think it's merely a product of 3D animation? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. In the footage, we see 2 bucks frolicking in the wilderness, and they're clearly up to something. Are they playing? Are they having a good-natured scuffle? Frankly, it's tough to tell because with animals, play and tussles can often look quite similar. But the beauty of it all is that this trail cam happened to capture this entertaining moment just before these 2 buddies scampered off into the woods, their shenanigans adding a dash of humor to the natural world. It's a reminder that the animal kingdom, much like our own, is full of moments that can be both comical and puzzling. Whether it's play, rivalry, or simply a burst of wild energy, these creatures sure know how to keep us guessing and bring a smile to our faces. Before the deer and buck experts come for me, I do admit that I'm nothing but an amateur when it comes to the behaviors of these magnificent creatures, so be kind, please. Oh, this is a delightful surprise. It seems like even the wildlife is getting in on the selfie trend. Our star of the day, a curious Bambi, makes its debut on a trail cam in the heart of the woods. Now picture this. The innocent deer stumbles upon this alien-looking contraption, our trusty trail cam, and it's understandably intrigued. What on earth is this shiny, strange thing? You can almost imagine it thinking. And then the magic happens. Motion sensors do their thing, and click, we got ourselves a charming deer selfie. One can't help but wonder what was going through Bambi's head at that moment. Was it sheer curiosity, maybe a touch of confusion, or perhaps, just maybe, it had a twinge of excitement about joining the ranks of Trailcam celebrities? Stepping away from potential hoaxes, take a look at this footage. Did you see it? A creature quickly runs across the camera frame. The creature's brown fur and impressive size left us in awe. Bears don't run like that, and no chimpanzee or gorilla is capable of moving on its 2 feet like that. That leaves us with just one suspect: Bigfoot. However, there's one peculiar thing. The Bigfoot in this footage appears considerably smaller than any we've featured on this channel. Could we actually be looking at a young or juvenile Bigfoot? My team and I certainly do think so, but what about you? This capture was sent to us by a subscriber on this page. This Trailcam capture is as confusing as they get. We're unable to decipher and tell what we're actually looking at. It looks like a dark cloud of some sort, perhaps a forming apparition from another dimension, or a cloud of insects or something of that sort, as it appears to be moving as well. We just can't tell what it is and refuse to believe it's not real. Can you help? This footage was captured by individuals who went into an abandoned hospital to see what they could find. Once I read this, my mind was like, what else do you expect to find in the hospital? Anyway, if you pay attention to the footage, you'll see that he is the last in his group since he's recording. When he turns around with the camera, however, we see another frail, weak-looking man behind him. Within some seconds, however, this image of the man suddenly disappears, which leaves you wondering, what just happened? Well, some believe it's a ghost. Well, actually, all believe it's a ghost, and I don't see any other explanation for it. Do you? This footage starts off as an innocent one of buffaloes, and it might have stayed that way if you don't pay attention to the footage. But once you start paying attention, you see it. There in the top right corner of the clip, there's a figure moving from the right to the left. Judging by its size in relation to the buffaloes we see, we can tell it's massive because if you know anything about buffaloes, you know that they are massive. But what could that be? You don't need to be an expert to know we are definitely dealing with a Bigfoot. Although it's quite the distance in the footage, you can tell there's some fur there and it's got a human-like stride. There's no other being in existence that's got both features going for it except the Bigfoot. But what do you make of the whole thing? Share your thoughts with me in the comments section. We have seen strange things on this channel, but none compared to what I'm about to show you. Are you ready? Have a look. Yes, you're actually looking at a bear with what looks like a mohawk on its back. We couldn't believe it either and had to quickly run a Google image search, but nothing came up. Google thought it was a cinnamon bear, but cinnamon bears don't have hair like that on their back. Could this be some rare mutation in that particular bear, or is there something funny going on in the woods where this image was captured? It's hard to say or verify since the uploader of the capture didn't state where it was captured, but do tell me what you think. How would you explain what you just saw? Doesn't it look like two animals combined into one? Because that's exactly what the one who uploaded the footage thought when he saw it. He actually thought he was seeing some ghost animal that was part coyote, zebra, and wolf. Watching the video, we can see where he's coming from, but we gave that idea a hard pass. There's just no way that's remotely possible. The footage is definitely that of a canine carrying the remains of some other animals. That's at least what we think. But what do you think? This next footage will shock even the most open-minded of us. Instead of me talking plenty, just watch. Looks like a woman sitting in a tree, doesn't it? Or like a saint of some sorts, but is it really? Turns out it's not. According to the uploader of the footage, what you see on your screen is actually what was mysteriously found in the tree. It had either suddenly appeared there overnight, or they had just not noticed it in each of their visitations to the woods, which is most unlikely since they visit often according to them. But even if it had been there long, who put it there and why? What would be the benefit of having a statue in a tree? Who would see it? What if it falls? This is where the myths and stories come in. Some believe it could be an ancestor or saint reappearing and making a statement to them. Sounds like a scene from the Tomb Raider or something, but right now we don't have much to go on. What do you think? Big and grand things, literally, but today is a bit different. While the creature we start with may not be big or ginormous in size, it's got a mystery that makes it worth the spot. Take a look. What do you think that is? You can't say, right? Well, so is every single person we've shown the capture to. Nobody has been able to describe the creature thus far, which is no surprise, given how it looks. It does kinda look like a bird, that's certainly true, but what kind of bird looks like that? None that we're aware of. When you tune your mind off it potentially being a bird, it appears to have the silhouette of a sloth, albeit a much smaller and yellowish one. As you can probably tell by now, we've no idea what we're dealing with, but that could also be because we have untrained eyes as far as wildlife is concerned. Do any of you know what this is? Can you educate us, please? We'd really love to know. One of the creepiest sightings ever caught on trail camera. Don't believe me? Take a look at this. Did you see that? Did you see those captures? Where have you seen a creature that large before? What's more, it's not just any creature, it's clearly a large lizard. I know there are large lizards, but there's definitely no known species like this. What's more, lizards don't jump. Even if they do, I doubt they could reach this high. The uploader of the capture, whose Trailcam captured this, believes it's an undisclosed species of flesh-eating lizards. He also believes they could be related to fish, as they're a bit fish-like. As exciting and disturbing as that sounds, a part of me just feels like this image might not be real. The image looks very good and very authentic, but I can't seem to shake the feeling off. Call it a hunch of some sort. What do you think about it, though? We have this footage from a YouTuber named Peter Canine. Instead of telling you ourselves, we'll just let him do the talking.
My father shot the Bigfoot in 1953. They had to cut it up.
Yes, you heard right. He says his dad actually killed Bigfoot in the 50s. He also adds that they've kept the body part refrigerated since then. As much as I love to see Bigfoot stories, I mean, if you follow this channel, you know we have lots of Bigfoot stories. I just don't think this is real. I mean, look at it. So many questions and so many red flags, like, why keep it refrigerated when he could have shown it to the world and gotten famous and even rich? It just doesn't add up. But tell us what you think. We'd really like to know. Unlike the previous footage where we had an explanation for the strange creature in the cage, this next footage remains a mystery. In 2019, a stranded whale was discovered on a sandbar. Despite the presence of a beach in the area, the considerable distance between the sandbar and the beach raised questions about how the whale ended up there. For the whale to get there, there must be a tide of some sort of flood that carried it to the groove, but there were no records of a flood. So how did this huge creature get there? Well, the experts believe the tide was responsible. Do you agree? Or do you think a paranormal or extraterrestrial being is responsible? Next, we have a capture that's sure to give you chills. Amidst the lush woods and verdant meadows, our recorder encounters an atmosphere teeming with mystery as the footage unfolded. First, he discovers a gathering of branches that seem to have been arranged into a makeshift shelter, yet left untouched by human hands. However, nature's symphony took an eerie turn as strange noises began to resonate from the depths of the woods, prompting a hasty retreat. However, the allure of the unknown compelled him to press on, undeterred by the eerie soundscape. When the enigmatic sounds resurfaced, the camera's gaze was fixated upon the source, revealing a creature of mystery lurking among the trees. Even the tiniest insects and towering trees in the forest seemed to share a collective sense of trepidation, echoing the fear emanating from this enigmatic presence. Despite the pulse-quickening encounters and the primal instincts urging retreat, our brave traveler stood resolute. Yet there comes a time when even the boldest souls heed the warnings whispered by the wilderness. After a few scares and ultimately seeing what was behind the eerie sounds, he takes to his heels, literally. A slow-mo of the capture reveals the creature responsible for it all, a dark, cloaked figure towering among the trees. This leaves us with more questions than answers. What do you think this creature is? Some have suggested a skinwalker and others a shapeshifter. What say you? Do you think the whole thing is real at all? Share your thoughts with me in the comment section. For our next footage, perhaps I should just allow you to watch it and tell me what you think. So, what do you think about the footage you've seen so far? You do see the trees in the background, don't you? And you do see the structure to the left side of the screen, right? As interesting as those things might be, they can't compare to the hairy creature. You see the hairy creature too, right? What is it? Well, no one can say for sure, but given the fact that the Trailcam capture is from a secluded area without any bears or apes, all who have seen the photo believe it's Bigfoot. Frankly, there's little evidence to prove or disprove it, so we're gonna sit out passing judgment for this one. Our next clip was taken in the Congo. The clip features an interesting experiment where a small rock is connected to an LED light with wires, causing it to light up. In the next part of the clip, two larger rocks are brought together, creating sparks of electricity and fire. This experiment hints at the possibility of groundbreaking technology involving rocks that can generate electricity. The implications of this discovery are fascinating. This could mean potential for innovative applications and advancements. If rocks can produce electricity, it could lead to transformative effects in various fields, offering new opportunities for sustainable energy solutions. Sadly, though, I feel this isn't real. If you haven't already hit the like button, subscribed, or even dropped a comment so far, could you please do so now? It goes a long way to help us make more videos like this for you. Thank you so much. Now back to today's episode. For our next clip, we have what can only be described as a mystery. Take a look. In this footage, we're transported to a misty forest where a mix of fully grown trees and partially chopped ones creates an eerie atmosphere. As the camera pans, our attention is drawn to an unusual sight between the trees. According to the uploader, there's a weird-looking creature there. He speculates it's ape-like, but not large enough to be a Sasquatch. Personally, though, I've looked at it several times and failed to see anything beyond the dark shadow. Do you? If you do, please describe it in the comments section. In this footage, we witness a figure donning blue boots navigating through cluttered surroundings, their determination unwavering despite the ominous atmosphere. With each step, The explorer delves deeper into the mysterious realm, the obscurity of the environment offering only fleeting glimpses of their surroundings. Despite the eerie ambience, this brave individual proceeds with a sense of purpose, seemingly undisturbed by the enigmatic setting. If you listen attentively, you should hear the peculiar sounds that disrupt the tranquility and silence of the night that should accompany the scene. The explorer starts off confident, but soon the explorer's confidence wavers, replaced by a primal instinct of self-preservation. This response is relatable. When confronted with the unfamiliar, our innate fight-or-flight response often takes over. Amid the uncertainty, whispers of words, perhaps prayers or expressions of vulnerability can be heard. If I were in his shoes, I would pray too. But what could have been responsible for that noise? Unfortunately, we don't have the answers. Do you?
Porque María vivió eso una vez mismo, eso se lleva todo. Y ya le una bronca, y yo ya le Marisa se me perdieron porque yo estaba por fuera y no las encontraba.
In this footage, we have strange-looking blue clouds that have formed some sort of tunnel to the Earth. This looks so strange. Some suggest it could be a portal, a gateway for extraterrestrials to make their grand entrance on Earth. Others raise the possibility of advanced alien technology at play, turning the sky into a canvas of celestial wonder. What's your perspective on this celestial display? A unique atmospheric event, or perhaps a glimpse into the realm of extraterrestrial mysteries? Ever heard of the giants or Nephilim that used to live on Earth before we came? At least, that is what some people believe, and some archaeologists have found remains of suspected giants.
A la entrada de la mina, como si nos estuvieran cuidando. Miren.
Well, someone noticed this person standing at the edge of the mountain. We cannot see the person clearly because the sun is setting, but you could make out the obvious silhouette of a human, perhaps a man. The owner of the footage believes that it's a giant because looking at the distance of the mountaintop and the size of the person standing there, this person must be very huge. What are your thoughts on this? A potential glimpse at a colossal human, or perhaps a play of shadows creating the illusion of a giant? Speaking of questionable Bigfoot captures, take a look at this next one. This was apparently captured by a man in his car while he was on a trip. He saw the creature from afar, got close enough to take a look at it, and ran away. Now, I'm no skeptic when it comes to Bigfoot, but I simply have so many questions when it comes to this footage. First off, the area doesn't look like a place where someone is casually driving around, so how did this vehicle get into such an area to see the Bigfoot? Assuming we believe him and what he's saying is true, pay attention to the Bigfoot's movements. They are so much more human than that of a giant creature. Do you see the discrepancies that I'm seeing too, or do you have a different opinion? Please share in the comments section. The footage you are seeing is from Jacksonville, and yes, those are clowns. Imagine waking up and seeing clowns standing at your door with clubs or some other mysterious object in their hands. Would you run, or would you stay? With my experience in all things paranormal, trust me when I say I'd run, and I'd run very quickly. It's better to be laughed at for being afraid than to die at the hands of some killer clown because you underestimated it. But am I being paranoid? Do I sound paranoid? Maybe I need a break, but either way, you have to agree, this is creepy. It turned out to be a practical joke, but clearly many of the individuals who experienced it didn't think so. This footage was taken in the middle of nowhere. There was a road tunnel built for trucks to go through. But hold on a second. As you can see, a truck drives into the tunnel. The video is zoomed out, and we don't see an exit for the tunnel. This brings up many questions. Where does this tunnel lead? Is it a part of an underground network connecting remote regions, or does it lead to a concealed facility that serves a specific function? An ominous function? I guess we'd never know. While on deep-sea research, divers captured this colossal creature lurking in the ocean depths. And what does this aquatic enigma resemble? None other than the famed Mosasaurus. For those unacquainted with prehistoric marine creatures, the Mosasaurus was a colossal aquatic reptile that once ruled the ancient seas. It lived during the late Cretaceous period, and its fossils have been discovered around the world. Now, fast forward to the present, and we find ourselves faced with the uncanny semblance of this long-extinct behemoth in the depths. It's crucial to acknowledge that the existence of a living Mosasaurus would challenge our current understanding of evolutionary timelines. Nevertheless, the ocean continues to be an area of continual exploration, harboring many species yet to be fully uncovered and comprehended. Do you love fish? If you answered yes, then can you tell me what on earth that is? It's hard to make sense of this because its upper body somewhat looks human, with the rest of its body looking like a fish. Could this be what real life and actual mermaids look like? On second thought, I doubt that's in any way a mermaid. It seems to be struggling to get by. Could it be some mutated organism, or even perhaps a mutated mermaid? I know this sounds like a far stretch when you think about it, but how else can we explain that? Quite frankly, my team and I are out of options or even opinions. What do you think about the whole thing? Share your thoughts with us. Speaking of strange paranormal occurrences and beings, take a look at this next capture. What comes to mind when you see it? Literally the devil, right? It has this demonic and ominous feel to it. Its physique and either pointed ears or horns have this demonic feel to it. What makes this crazy is the fact that it was captured by a Trailcam hidden in the woods. Now, the owner had noticed weird things happening in those woods, including animals being found with their blood drained or partially eaten. Anyone who knows anything about the wild will know that no food gets wasted and predators do not kill animals for its blood. The owner of the camera had long suspected that something weird was going on, but never did he ever think he would discover something like this as the reason. Now, he refused to disclose his location, but what would you do in his situation? Tell us in the comment section. Now, over the years, science has brought about many innovations and inventions, some to battle diseases and come up with new technology. Here we have a news report that says the doctors have come up with the first head transplant. This would take a series of processes to make this successful, and will last for 36 hours and a total of 10 medical staff to get this done. It starts from freezing the body and heads to a specific temperature to prevent it from dying. Then decapitation is done, but they start first with the neck, and when it comes to the spinal cord, they use a special tool made of diamonds to curb any damage to be caused. Now the severed head will be taken to its new body, where they attach the esophagus with a special glue. The other vessels are also attached, and a plastic surgeon comes to attach the skin. After this, the body is put into a 4-week induced coma for the rest of everything to heal completely. Everything seems so well planned, but the question is, who is volunteering to do that? I would love to see it, but it looks like such a scary thing to go through. Is this something you could see yourself doing? Tell us in the comment section. A hospice nurse is the owner of this photograph. As one of her patients neared her demise, the patient said she was sensing something in the room with her. She was given a small camera to help her try and capture what she was sensing and seeing. When the photo was developed, this is what appeared. A luminous entity in the darkness. It looks like a humanoid being with wings. The nurse believed that the patient was seeing her guardian angel coming for her. What are your thoughts on this? Still on mysterious finds and captures, there's only one creature that tops the list. Yes, you guessed right, the Bigfoot. Now check out this image captured in the remote woodlands of Alberta, Canada. The photographer is convinced it's none other than Bigfoot. Since the image was taken from a considerable distance, discerning the creature's features beyond its thick, dark fur is a challenge. Moreover, this creature is sizable. While some might speculate it's a bear or a gorilla, the region isn't known for hosting these animals. That leaves us with the intriguing possibility of Bigfoot. Some think there's no fur at all, and we're simply looking at a large rock. What are your thoughts, as we'd like to know? Let's move away from the Bigfoot sightings and take a look at this magnificent black wolf. This particular footage was taken at Yellowstone Park. A huge wolf emerges from the woods onto the road. Its size unmistakably reveals a dominant male wolf. Adult wolves typically weigh between 60 and 70 pounds, with the largest ever recorded reaching a staggering 143 pounds. While these wolves are undeniably beautiful, encountering them up close can be perilous, as they are formidable predators capable of causing serious harm. The person who took this footage was in a car, keeping a safe distance. I know you want to pet it, but if you ever see a wolf, do what this person did: keep a safe distance. And no, that's not Jason from Twilight. Humans are limited in their sensory perception, which can be both humbling and alarming to consider. Our hearing range is between 20 Hz to 20 kHz, and our visual spectrum, spanning wavelengths of approximately 430 to 770 terahertz, only covers small fractions of the broader electromagnetic and auditory spectrum. This limitation means we are effectively blind and deaf to a huge array of phenomena occurring at higher frequencies or beyond our range of vision. For instance, ultraviolet and infrared light, which other creatures like bees and snakes can detect, remain hidden from human sight. Similarly, ultrasonic and infrasonic sounds are imperceptible to our ears, but are crucial for communication amongst certain animals such as bats and elephants. These sensory gaps raise fascinating and unsettling questions. Could there be entities, energies, or even worlds that exist just beyond our perception? Are aliens a part of the world we are unable to see? Stepping away from the scientific debates, let's look at something right up our alley: ghosts. The image on your screen was captured by a group of friends at Black Star Canyon in Orange County. It was shared by user DJS Skeptics seeking answers. If you pay attention to the image, especially to the left side, you should see what looks like a faint image of a boy in the shadows. The group was supposed to be alone when they took the picture, so seeing another boy in the background really spooked them, and they uploaded it to a paranormal group seeking answers. They did get some answers, but it was not necessarily what they were expecting. The image was not pareidolia or a trick of the light. No, it turns out that some school children died in a car crash not far from where they took the picture. Ever since the incident, people have always reported seeing images of little children in the area. This is one of the few times they have actually been captured on camera. At least that's what we're told, though some remain skeptical. There's no logical or paranormal explanation. What do you think? A man was filming one night when suddenly something extraordinary happened. Out of nowhere, a huge ball of light blasted across the sky, trailing colorful streaks behind it. The light illuminated the entire area for a brief moment before vanishing just as quickly as it appeared. Along with this spectacle, there was a loud, thunderous boom which echoed across the landscape. If you listen closely to the footage, you can hear the rain falling steadily in the background. But what exactly was that? Some people are speculating it could have been a comet or something along the lines of a fireball entering the atmosphere. You've seen the clip. What do you think it is? I always say this: hospitals are one of the biggest hotspots for ghost activity.
How do you show it? How do you show it? How do you tell a ghost to show it? Look at the heart rate. Make your heart rate speed up if you're a ghost. Make your heart rate speed up if you're a ghost.
In this video, a group of nurses entered a room and were shocked by what they found. The heart monitor was on, actively reading someone's vitals, but this is the strange part. The room was completely empty and the machine wasn't even plugged in. This left the nurses convinced that they might be dealing with a ghost. On one of them, curious if the spirit was trying to communicate, asked if it could increase the heart rate. To their surprise, the monitor showed exactly that. The heart rate sped up. The nurses were all in shock, unable to believe what they were witnessing. I mean, you're definitely seeing everything I'm saying on your screen right now. The big question now is this real? Is this genuine? The paranormal community is divided. Where do you stand?
Rate speed up if you're a ghost.
If you've ever wondered what two of your brain cells interacting looks like, then you are in luck. Believe it or not, these are what your brain cells look like when they're doing a mentally draining task. Unlike us, they don't talk in words. Their conversation happens through intricate signals transmitted across tiny gaps called synapses. While this is an oversimplification of the fascinating science behind their chatting, we still have to admit that it looks impressive. This exchange is what powers everything we do, from thinking and feeling to moving and remembering. Every thought or sensation is the result of billions of these tiny conversations happening in your brain every second. I don't know about you, but this makes me think of space and the way our universe looks. What if our existence is just within a much larger being, and we are all just parts of that larger being functioning to keep him functioning? You know what? Let's move on to the next clip before I hurt myself. A security camera set in an alleyway captured a peculiar scene. A man was walking through the alley when something moved on the roof of a nearby house, catching his attention. He glanced up, but saw nothing unusual and continued on his way. Upon zooming in on the roof, however, two strange creatures came into view. They appear to have wings and a long tail and could be either four or two-legged. Their appearance resembled small winged dinosaurs. Could these creatures be bats or large birds distorted by the angle and lighting, or is this something more unusual, perhaps cryptids or even an elaborate hoax? What do you think these creatures could be?
Conyers, and they just sent out a alert for us to shelter in place and close all your windows because this is a chemical fire. So look at those clouds.
This video was taken by a woman driving through Conyers, Georgia, where thick, ominous fumes were billowing into the air from a nearby biolab. The lab had caught fire, and the fumes being released were toxic. Emergency alerts were sent out on September the 29th, urging residents to close their windows and stay indoors to avoid exposure. Just take a look at the density of the smoke. It looks like something out of a disaster film, but this is very real. The fact that it's coming from a biolab raises even more concern. What kind of materials were inside, and how dangerous are these fumes? It's hard not to wonder how this happened and what kind of long-term effects might it have on the environment and the health of the community. Anyone who knows more about this should let us know in the comments section.
Conyers, and they just sent out a alert for us to shelter in place and close all your windows because this is a chemical fire. So look at those clouds.
While you figure that out, you might want to take a look at this ginormous beauty of a specimen.
Oh my God. Oh gee. Oh, a big kangaroo in front of me. I'm scared.
I'm not a zoologist, but that's definitely not normal. The individual who uploaded the clip stated that it was definitely reaching up to 9 feet in height. While that's impressive, I was definitely distracted by those strong-looking muscles. After admiring it for a few seconds and feeling sorry for myself— wait, scratch that, you didn't hear that. Back to my research. I discovered that kangaroo sizes vary by species. The largest, the red kangaroo, can reach up to 6 feet in height with a tail length of about 3.3 feet, and males weigh between 121 to 198 pounds, while females are smaller at around 3.6 feet and 40 to 88 pounds. Eastern gray kangaroos grow up to 5 to 6 feet tall for males, weighing 110 to 145 pounds, while females are typically 4 to 4.6 feet tall and weigh 37 to 88 pounds. Western gray kangaroos are slightly smaller, with males reaching 4.3 to 5.3 feet and weighing 62 to 119 pounds, while females weigh 35 to 82 pounds. While that's a lot of kangaroo information, you can clearly tell that this big guy doesn't fit any of the dimensions stated here. So what do you think we're dealing with?
Oh my God. Oh gee. Oh, a big kangaroo in front of me. I'm scared.
Here we have another fascinating piece of security footage. The camera, positioned at the front of someone's house, captures the front yard, fence, street, and the house across the way. In the stillness of the night, the sky suddenly lights up with a bright purple flash. Immediately after, a figure appears out of nowhere. Due to the camera's angle, only the lower torso of the person is visible, but the sequence is striking. After the light fades, the figure simply walks away. The sudden appearance of the figure following the flash raises intriguing questions. Could this be an example of teleportation? Next, we visit a topic that's not necessarily paranormal, but one that's deeply concerning: the growth of fake eggs in the American food market. Take a look at this footage. These fake eggs are allegedly from China, where it's become a practice to manufacture eggs using chemicals. These synthetic creations are designed to mimic the appearance and texture of natural eggs, but they are far from the real deal. What's worrying is that these fake eggs are now making their way into the American market and could soon spread worldwide. Experts warn that consuming them could pose serious health risks over time. What do you think about this disturbing trend? Would you be able to tell if the eggs you're eating are real or fake?
Yo, this is crazy. So this is April, 14th?
Take a look at this footage from 2023, shared by a resident in Oklahoma. It starts with this strange object hovering in the sky above his house. At first glance, you might think it's something falling from space, but there is no fire, just a bright, tiny orb surrounded by a cloud of white smoke, leaving a smoky trail behind it. As you watch, the smoke begins to spread and slowly dissipates, leaving the shiny orb still floating in the sky. It just hovers there for a while, but then something even stranger happens. The orb starts emitting more of that white smoke, almost as if it's pulsing out of the object. And during this entire eerie spectacle, you can hear the sound of sirens going off in the background, adding to the tension. What could possibly be going on here? A meteor? Space debris? Or could it be something more mysterious, maybe even otherworldly?
Yo, this is crazy. So this is April, what, 14th?
No, I don't like you people to use chemicals. We use natural food.
Yeah.
Which heals. Can I tell you?
Yeah.
This is produced by chemicals.
It is. It's very true.
You are putting chemicals in your body. When you say it, you don't care what will happen. You are saying, I'm wearing a good shirt.
Yeah.
That's a problem. That you are practicing witchcraft on your body yourself with your mind. So people don't think about that.
We mostly worry about what we put into our bodies, questioning the safety of the food we eat and the chemicals used in its production. But how often do we stop to consider the clothes we wear? This man visited a remote village in Africa and interviewed one of the elders. The man wore clothing made from gazelle skin. As he talked, the elder shared a thought-provoking perspective. He stated that our clothes today are often manufactured using synthetic fibers and treated with a cocktail of chemicals from dyes to preservatives. These chemicals, in turn, come into direct contact with our skin daily. When you think about it, you realize that just as we worry about the toxins we consume through food, it's worth considering what we absorb through our skin when we wear chemically treated fabrics. But do tell me, do you think our clothing is harming us in ways we haven't even considered? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section.
This is produced by chemicals.
It is. It's very true.
You are putting chemicals in your body. When you say it, you don't care what will happen. You are saying, I'm wearing a good shirt.
Yeah.
That's a problem. That you are practicing witchcraft on your body yourself with your mind. So people don't think about that.
Next, we've got today's bonus segment. Before I show you what I've got for you today, though, I wanted to give a shout out to some of you who did well with our last bonus question. The best answer for me came from Karen Edmondson 462. We look forward to more responses from you. Now for today's bonus segment. Do you think this is a real dog? If it is, let us know the specific species it is and an interesting fact about it, like at Karen Edmondson 462. I can't wait to read your responses. We often hear about muscle memory, where living things repeat actions they've done for a long time almost instinctively. But did you know there's also something called the shape memory effect? This phenomenon typically occurs in materials like nickel-titanium alloys, and it's absolutely fascinating to watch. Just look at this. A piece of shapeless metal is placed on a surface, and suddenly it begins to wiggle and twist. It transforms into the shape of a paperclip. It's not magic, it's science. Next, you have a small spring that's been stretched out. It also immediately shrinks back into a tightly coiled spring. These materials have something similar to a memory. When heated, they remember their original form and return to it, no matter how much they've been deformed. This happens because of their unique molecular structure, which allows them to revert to their predetermined shape when exposed to the right conditions. Incredible, isn't it? I saw some comments underneath the original post that had me first laughing and then thinking, I know it's not related, but it would be great if we could do this, wouldn't it? A resident of New Jersey shared this bizarre footage online, and it's causing quite a stir. In the video, a strange craft is seen flying across the night sky. It performs a sudden U-turn, locking its position to face a glowing red circle with an orb at its center hovering nearby. The glowing orb appears to be tracking the craft, and as the craft maneuvers to face the orb, it feels like the two are about to engage in some kind of standoff or battle. The red circle and its orb seem eerily coordinated, almost as if it's challenging the mysterious craft. What's going on here? Could this be related to the ongoing drone sightings in New Jersey? We've stepped into a new year, but the mystery of New Jersey's skies continues to deepen. What do you think is going on?
Can you see it? It's fucking Bigfoot. It's a Bigfoot.
A woman driving near the woods had a startling encounter, or so it seemed at first. Ahead in the tree line, she spotted a 9-foot-tall Bigfoot figure standing among the trees. Its towering silhouette gave her quite a fright. As she drove closer, it became clear this wasn't a living creature at all, but a Bigfoot sculpture cleverly crafted from leaves and other natural materials. The craftsmanship was so realistic. It seems someone decided to have a bit of fun by creating this woodland surprise and leaving it in plain sight. Whether it's meant as a prank, art installation, or just to stir curiosity, it definitely succeeded in turning heads. What would you do if you stumbled across something like this?
Not the best.
Now, we all remember how the COVID-19 pandemic started a few years ago, leaving the entire world in a state of panic and uncertainty. Just when we thought we were moving past the worst of global health crisis, a new and terrifying threat emerged from Japan. Reports have surfaced of a flesh-eating disease that has already affected 977 individuals. The news has sent shockwaves through the medical community and beyond as people brace themselves for the potential spread of this horrifying ailment. Health officials in Japan are working around the clock to understand the disease, how it spreads, and most importantly, how to treat and contain it. The rest of the world watches with bated breath, hoping that this outbreak can be controlled before it becomes a global crisis. The memories of lockdowns, social distancing, and constant vigilance are still fresh in everyone's mind. The idea of facing another global health threat, especially one as gruesome as a flesh-eating disease, is almost too much to bear. Some have called the whole thing fake. Others think it was grown in the lab as a weapon, whereas others believe this is nothing but fear-mongering. Now, peer-reviewed journals are yet to be released on the case, but if it's true, let's pray they get everything under control. The last thing the world needs is COVID 2.0 that's capable of eating your flesh. Mystical creatures are mystical for a reason. There's no way they can be real until people start showing these types of footage, and then everyone becomes confused. Take a look at this footage of what looks like a centaur. A woman is lying on the ground with the lower part of a horse, and there are two people standing over her. For those unfamiliar with the term, a centaur, a mythical creature with the upper body of a human and the lower body of a horse. They have been part of folklore and mythology for centuries. Seeing such a creature in what appears to be a modern real-world setting is mind-boggling. While I want to be excited and believe this is real, the most logical explanation is that this footage is a product of modern visual effects or elaborate costumes. What do you think? A man exploring the breathtaking mountains of Kyrgyzstan had an unexpected encounter. While enjoying the scenic beauty, he witnessed an avalanche cascading down the slopes in the distance. From his vantage point, he watched as a massive cloud of dust and debris surged forward. But what he didn't anticipate was just how far the avalanche's force would travel. Before he knew it, the swirling cloud of snow and dust reached his location. Reacting quickly, he sought shelter behind a large rock, using it as a shield against the oncoming wave. Nature's beauty is indeed captivating, but it comes with its own dangers. Looks like this man was prepared.
Oh God. Oh dear God.
Take a look at this clip.
I can zoom in more on Instagrams. It's a silhouette, right, of someone.
Take a second look. I'm not the only one seeing what appears to be a humanoid-looking cloud, right? The individual who uploaded this clip mentioned that it looked more convincing in person, and I'm tempted to believe him. Not just because of the fact that his account hadn't been posting paranormal things before this clip, but because these kinds of clips with clouds looking like humanoids have been showing up a lot recently. If you watched our episodes during Christmas, you'd have seen a few of these. If you didn't, you can check them out after this video. The sheer number of clips coming up recently featuring humanoids in the clouds has led many in the paranormal community to believe that there are beings in our clouds. But one question they have been unable to answer is, what are these beings? Another that requires answering is, why are they here? Why are they allowing themselves to be captured at this time? Not everyone is convinced these are aliens, though. Some think it's basically the mind playing tricks on us, something along the lines of pareidolia. I know this is a controversial one, but what do you guys also think?
I can zoom in more on Instagrams. It's a silhouette, right, of someone.
On November the 20th, 2024, a Florida senator introduced a bill aimed at banning the use of weather modification techniques. This legislation specifically targets the use of chemicals and other technologies to manipulate weather conditions, such as altering temperatures, sunlight, or precipitation. The move has reignited debates surrounding long-standing conspiracy theories that claim scientists or even governments may be behind certain unexplained weather phenomenon. For years, theories about weather control have included allegations of cloud seeding, geoengineering, and even secretive programs like HAARP, High Frequency Active Aurora Research Program. Supporters of the bill argue it's a proactive measure to prevent the misuse of emerging weather-altering technologies and to address environmental concerns. Critics, however, see it as either unnecessary, if such practices aren't widespread, or as quiet confirmation that weather manipulation is more real than previously acknowledged. Does this bill lend credence to weather control theories, or is it a precautionary measure for future developments in technology? Could this be the beginning of transparency in weather-related sciences, or does it fuel more questions than answers? What are your thoughts? Whilst you share your thoughts, this image captures how many individuals feel the government has denied the existence of such technology for years, only to come out and ban them. Someone must be lying somewhere, and it's certainly not the masses. Animals in the wild are constantly at risk from predators, and many have developed fascinating coping mechanisms to protect themselves and their offspring. This penduline tit is a prime example of this ingenuity. These small birds are known for their intricately woven nests which hang delicately from tree branches. Inside these nests, they lay their eggs, but the birds go to great lengths to ensure the safety of their future generations. To ward off predators like snakes, penduline tits employ a clever strategy. Their nests have two entrances. One entrance acts as a decoy, luring wandering snakes or other predators away from their eggs. It's essentially a trap door to nowhere meant to mislead and confuse. Meanwhile, the true entrance, known only to the penduline tit, allows safe access to the eggs. This ingenious design helps increase the chances of survival for their offspring. Such an intelligent architecture.
And I see these He's like throwing an angel baby on the floor or through the roof. It's like little, but it has horns on top.
A woman was walking by a building in Fresno when she noticed something strange. On this building, there were some rather odd-looking statues. The statues were strange and unsettling. One of them appeared to be a winged creature, almost like a gargoyle, tossing a baby angel. There were other equally eerie statues, along with some unusual paintings covering the building's exterior. What could this all mean? Some are speculating that it could be linked to a cult or some kind of hidden symbolism. What do you make of this?
And I see these. He's like throwing an angel baby on the floor or through the roof. It's like little, but it has horns on top.
This is Corleo, a robotic marvel straight out of Japan developed by Kawasaki. It's a four-legged robot designed to carry a human rider, yeah, like a mechanical horse. And honestly, it's one of the most impressive yet slightly unsettling things to come out of robotics in recent years. Just watch how it moves very smoothly with calculated steps across uneven rocky terrain. It doesn't wobble, it doesn't hesitate, it just climbs up hills and slopes with ease, then descends like it knows exactly what it's doing. The rider on its back barely flinches. That's how balanced and precise this machine is. It mimics the way real animals move with such fluidity that you almost forget you're watching a robot. And as much as I want to applaud the technology, and I do, there's a part of me that finds it just a little too advanced. It's like we're watching the first steps towards something bigger, something that maybe doesn't stop at just being helpful. Think about it. Robotic animals that can carry humans, climb mountains, and potentially go where wheeled machines can't. Well, this isn't just a cool gadget, it's a glimpse into the future of mobility, warfare, rescue missions, and who knows what else. It's impressive, it's exciting, but it's also a little bit terrifying. What do you think? And with that, we end today's episode. Thank you for staying with us. Before you go, are there clips and videos you think we should have featured by now that we haven't? Well, the good news is you can share them with us and we'll post them crediting you. Please send any such footage, including ones you recorded yourself, to us via classifiedcaptures@gmail.com. We'll do our thing and include it in our next episode. We can't wait to receive what you have.
Share this with someone you love, and I'll see you in the next one.